Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Blizzard just dropped the patch notes for the patch that's gonna hit us on Tuesday the 5th here, next week, in a couple days. And yeah, let's get into it. Lots of exciting stuff. So obviously they are bringing back the Vampiric Powers here. We're getting Metamorphosis, and I think the only one that's like really crazy is Hectic, because they buffed it a lot. It used to be 2 seconds, now it's 4 seconds, and this might make the Arclash Sorcerer go insane with the cooldown resets. You may have seen my Arclash Sorcerer builds. I'm going to link the patch notes and also that video in the description. Arclash is already going super ham, and it's going to go even faster now with Hectic, so that's pretty cool. I'm not really sure if the rest of the Vampiric Powers will see so much play. Like, Metamorphosis is nice, but it now adds a 5-second cooldown to evade, which is a big downside, because it like kind of, you know, negates the own effect, and it's like a utility aspect, it's like a movement speed aspect, another utility aspect. So you can only really put this, we already have it here on default builds, you can aspect of Metamorphosis, you can only put this on Amulet and Boots, but you can't put it like on the chest and stuff. So it's not that great in the end, but we'll see. Definitely Hectic is going to be pretty nice, and maybe Blood Bowl for some Barb builds. Then we have a general balance updates, so Starless Sky, you know, it gives you like a big buff now, and it's used in many builds. I used it in my Gauntlet build most likely as well. It's going to show an icon on the, it's going to show a buff icon on the minibar now. So that's always going to be like very nice to have like an icon down here, and then you can kind of see how many stacks you have of Starless Sky. But the problem is, like, this buff bar down there already gets like super full if you have like a Barbarian or some other builds, especially if you're using like elixirs or Chores of War and these kind of things that you're probably going to be using again in the Gauntlet. So there's not enough space most of the time to really like shine. But yeah, it's definitely cool that we have an icon now. And then they have some buffs to some underused legendaries, the Penitent Greaves. This is like a unique boots, this is like unique pants. Like, these basically are almost never used. Mother's Embrace buff is also pretty cool. If you don't have a Starless Sky, you can use this one. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. To have the Mother's Embrace here. So it basically refunds 50% of your resources now. So that's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, we got the patch notes. Woo, Legendary Aspects. Inner Calm got a 10% buff. So this is going to be really cool for builds like, I don't know, like even Ball Lightning Sorc, where you only teleport. You're actually getting a 40%. This is a really cool change. I like it. Ooh, they rebuffed Retribution. This is the one where you do more damage when you have stunned on the enemies. And this has actually been nerfed many times back in the days. It actually used to be 50% and 100%. And then they nerfed it like 3 times or something, and now they're buffing it again because nobody's using this anymore. But that's really cool to see that we're now getting at least 25. I still think they need to buff it more to really become viable, because it doesn't work against bosses. And yeah, 25 still isn't much. I think they should just buff this back to 50%, man. I mean, still like more. But yeah, that is it. Okay, Starlight. Amount of healing needed to get resources has been reduced. So this is going to be insane on my Immortal Barb. If you have seen my Immortal Barb, we are using the Starlight aspect to basically gain a bunch of resources back whenever we heal our life. And then with Melted Heart combination, it's completely insane, because like with Melted Heart, you're basically draining resources and you're gaining life if you're playing the Reconstruct Stone. You're getting an insane amount of life if you combine this with Genesis. And yeah, it's gonna make the Immortal Barb even stronger, because now you're basically, every second you're basically generating your resources, which is completely insane. So really cool changes actually to the legendary aspect. I would actually like to see more in the future. Okay, now we go to Barb. So they already talked about it in the campfire chat, that they are gonna be buffing the Barb basic skills to kind of see, you know, more of an early game improvement for the Barbarian. So we're getting 10% damage for Bash, and we're getting more Fury generation. It's pretty cool to see. Battle Bash is getting stronger. I think Bash is very underused. There's some pretty cool guaranteed overpowers that you can do. So yeah, that's very nice to see. Frenzy also gets 10% damage buff. Flay gets 10% damage buff and more Fury. Enhanced Flay and increased vulnerable duration. And these ones, the ones that they already previewed. So Strategic Ground Stomp, you can actually reduce the cooldown of your ultimates. And this has a very nice synergy with the Wrath of the Berserker So this might actually see some more play now, like they basically doubled the effect. So if you're hitting 10 monsters, guys, right now you're only getting 10 cooldown off your Wrath, but next you're gonna get 20 cooldown off, and you can like repeatedly use Ground Stomp, right? Because it's like naturally a very low cooldown based spell. So this it gets a 100% buff. It might be pretty good, man. Like we might run into almost perma Wrath of the Berserk here, which makes it really strong, especially if you have density. Iron Skin gets more Fortify, and then the Pram Call of the Ancients. I mean, we're still going to use Wrath of the Berserk, but it's very cool to see the rune buffed here. Where we gain 20% attack speed and 20% increased damage. I think they need to bump this up even higher. It should be like 30% or 33% or something like that. But good to see, good to see. Endless Fury. Fury gain increased from 7, 14, 21. Is it this one? Yes. So they buffed it even more. So this is also goes along the basic skills. So basic skills basically get even more resource generation. So it's gonna be a pretty viable way now to finally, like with Earth Striker and all the weapon swaps, to swap from a basic skill to a core skill and attack. But really cool, guys. We also got no nerfs here. We got Executioner Glyph. Previously, while wielding a polearm, you deal 10% X damage. And now it's just 10% X damage versus everything. So that's also really good. I mean, polearms are heavily underused. I think they should buff this more. But it's a good step in the right direction to buff this glyph. But it could be buffed even more, like I said. I mean, even if it's 20x%, I still think we would not play a polearm on the Barb. There's just way too many benefits. First of all, it's competing. Polearm can only be worn in the slot where Grandfather goes. And it's competing with Grandfather. So it's already like very hard to, you know, beat Grandfather if you have it. But it's also competing with like axes and swords, which have like pretty crazy benefits, like swords with bleeds and axes against healthy targets. And polearm, I think, has lucky hit, which is really bad. So good step, but I think not enough. Nobody will play polearm still, but they could buff it more. Then we have Aspect of the Iron Warrior. Oh, chat tells me we have a Ball Lightning buff. Let's go. Focus on Barb, and then we look at Sorc next. Sounds pork. Damage reduction increased. That's pretty cool. This is like the Iron Skin one. So if you go on Iron Warrior, Unstoppable, and now instead of 28, it's actually going to give you 35 damage reduction. If you put this on the Amulet, it's going to be 50% damage reduction. That's going to be pretty wild. Then we have Gore's Devastating Grist. We already seen this. Ranks of Whirlwind increase, damage increase. It's still not viable, but it's good to see. Whirlwind is one of the worst builds, and they're also addressing snapshotting in this patch, so yeah, not really the best. I'm going to be skipping Druid for now. We might get back to it later, or in a separate video, but overall, very cool to see, guys. There's no nerfs to Barb. There's no Hoda nerfs, there's no charge nerfs, and these builds are still rocking strong. And we actually got some overall like cool buffs, I think, to Fury Generation and to some underused stuff. I don't think it's quite enough yet to really make like stuff like polearms viable, but good way to go, man. Okay, we might check Druid later. I want to see the Sorcerer because this is going to be like a second class that I'll definitely play in the Gauntlet. So we got the Incinerate buffs. They already talked about that. Then they wanted to buff the Conjuration. So we actually get a Hydra buff, and oh boy, Ball Lightning got a 10% damage buff again. So Ball Lightning Sorc right now, obviously this is all a draft, but right now I'm thinking Ball Lightning and Arclash are going to be the best builds out of all classes for the Gauntlet because they are so fast. Not even Barb can compete with them because, as if you may have seen it, you can just basically permanently teleport. And now it's even getting a damage buff for the Ball Lightning Sorc. That's pretty cool to see. But the thing is, guys, the Ball Lightning buff will also buff the Arclash Sorc. And right now, I'm thinking that Arclash is going to win. I'm probably going to switch these two around. We'll make a separate tier list here in a video next days. But I think Arclash Sorc is going to win overall now because we got the Hectic power that is reducing the cooldown of your all your skills basically when you're using Generator. And Arclash is a Generator, so our basic skill. That's pretty cool. Icy Veil is buffed, Snap Freeze is buffed, Soulfire is buffed, nice. Avalanche is buffed, Shocking Impact. Wait, is this the... Oh, that's a passive. But is this the... Is this the Giga passive? So we have the Arclash builds here. Checking real quick. We go on Arclash. Oh, it is the shocking impact. So this is also like what Arclash and Ball Lightning is using. So this got buffed even further. It used to be 15%. So it's just basically like each time you stun an enemy, which you will do a lot with Raiment of the Infinite, right? You stun a lot. So this is another buff. Damage increased by 33%. Man. Yeah, this is going to be really strong. So Sorc stonks went even up. Like Sorc was already the best build for the Gauntlet. Like no other class will be even close to the Sorc, I think. We'll see. And they buffed it even more. And then they reworked a bunch of Paragon glyphs. I hope there's also some bug fixes for these. Frostbite, damage reduction, innovation glyph, damage reduction stacks. So more DR, that's nice. Your crit chance is increased by like doubled basically. That's insane as well. Enchanter glyph, more DPS. I was already using this. Enchanter is already in the Arclash build, right? So this is gonna be, it's gonna be where the adapt is. So yeah, they're buffing Enchanter. And what this will do is gonna buff your non-physical damage. And this is also gonna buff like your Frigid Fate. And all these kind of multipliers that rely on your non-physical damage. Man, the Sorc, dude, just gets even stronger. That's insane. Unleash, also buffed to 7. Okay, this is like 0.3% buff. But yeah, I guess it's there. And this is also a glyph that at least I use in my build here. I think it's down here, yeah. Unleash. So this is like even stronger now as well. Damn, that's wild. That's pretty cool. Legendary aspect of Searing Wand, mana cost reduced. That's nice. Overwhelming currents, chance increased. Nice. Okay, these are very cool changes for the Sorc. Yeah, and then Rogue, they previewed a lot of cool stuff as well. Seems pretty nice. Let's check Necromancer and I'm not gonna go as much detail here. So Necromancer gets a lot of minion buffs. Very cool to see. I don't think it's going to be quite enough yet, but they said they're going to be looking to do more in Season 4. I think the minions, they still need like at least a double damage. Still wouldn't be enough, I think, but certainly cool to see. We don't really get many buffs to like the main builds, which is like Bone Spear and stuff. And I think this passive actually ends up almost being a nerf for the Druid, so I don't know. For the Necro, so I don't know. Death Embrace, okay, close enemies DR went up. I mean, there's a bunch of buffs here. Kyle Leader Paragon. That's cool. That's some minion buffs. Even further minion buffs. That's very nice. Okay, let's check Druid real quick. So Druid got a lot of minion buffs as well. Wolves, Poison Creepers, Ravens. Oh, Quick Shift got buffed. So this is going to be a buff through every Druid build. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Bestial Rampage, Earthen Strength. Man, they even buffed the key passives. Yo, that's really cool to see. Like Druid key passives got a buffed. That's very nice. And yeah, Rogue overall seems to get a lot of like buffs to unused generators and to some unused core skills. And the Precision Key passive is also really strong. Man, I like to see it. There's some pretty cool changes. Okay, so the pet got slightly nerfed, I think. But they reduced the bleeding damage, they reduced the burning damage. Tempest gets a bug fix. You guys remember we were hitting for trillions of damage with the Tempest because it just kept stacking and stacking and stacking. And yeah, they're actually addressing this here, so that's good to see. Player profile update. So this will be how we inspect other people as part of the Gauntlet. So right now, you know, it's pretty bare bones. You just press view profile and all you can see is the items. You can't see skills, you can't see paragons and stuff. And they are changing this. So now, you can now see the equipped skills. You can't see their skill tree, but you can at least see the skills that they use. So that's, I mean, that's a good step in the right direction. It's still nowhere near enough though, but we'll see. Equipped emblems are now displayed in the header for players' profiles. Okay. The applied cosmetic name and where it was earned from the display. Okay. That shows the transmogs. From edit profile, players can select seals for those that earn during the current week to display on their profile. The current character's playtime is displayed. Phew, this is very nice. So you can actually see how much a person played. This is hopefully gonna also help out to, you know, identify some of the botters and like 24/7 players. Like, I don't know. We'll see, especially in new seasons. But playtime is very cool to see. I like that. Boosters exposed, yes. We'll see, guys. We can blast a lot, but can't blast 24/7 because you gotta sleep and do human things, man. It is what it is. Okay, Miscellaneous here. The cost to craft Uber Uniques has been reduced from 5 to 4. They already teased this. I would still like to see this being reduced to 3, because it's still so hard to get these, but yeah, 5 to 4 is already a step in the right direction. Then we have a couple of bug fixes. Didn't deploy armor while the player was mounted. Okay, nice. Okay, like a bunch of cool and important bug fixes, I guess. Very cool to see. Especially like some of the double dipping and stuff that got fixed. That's very nice. Yeah, here, fix an issue where multiple legendary aspects where equipping duplicates asset would always imply the effects of the first equipped aspect. So this is basically how they are ignoring, how they are making the snapshots, right? So this gear switches, this means for like accelerating and all these kind of aspects has been finally fixed. No more snapshotting, guys. At least not this kind of snapshotting. Fixed an issue where the unlearned Verse Mastery passive with Mage Lord equipped would cause the effect of Verse Mastery to remain active. Yes. Fixed an issue where the power that grants a bonus stat base and another stat would not readjust after the temporary bonus were off. So this is Blood Rage fix, guys. You will not be able to snapshot your Blood Rage anymore. And this is very good news. Obviously, it's going to nerf the Barb, all the builds basically, because every build uses Blood Rage. It's completely insane. You will not be able to snapshot this anymore. But that's good changes. I mean, you were already not allowed to switch gear in the Gauntlet anyways, but now you can't do it in the open world or, you know, in the future content either way. I think this is a really good change. Obviously, it's going to nerf a lot of like classes basically that have been using these kind of snapshots methods. But for the long-term health of the game and for the quality of life of the game, this is a very much needed step, guys. And yeah, I've been a huge advocate of them fixing snapshots, especially for the leaderboards. It probably still means, I mean, if this is the only snapshot fixes, there is still a lot of snapshots in the game. For example, Wrath of the Berserk snapshots and these kind of things. That would still work, I guess, but we'll test it when the patch hits on Tuesday and I'll keep you guys updated. Because people will still do it. It's also not clear if, you know, the Gauntlet will lock your pet and stuff, because you can still snapshot the Flash of Adrenaline and stuff. So I'm not sure exactly what it will mean for that, but like at least the worst offenders for snapshots are gone. And I think their philosophy from what they shared in the dev stream is that they want to basically address long-term all snapshots and don't generally like or want snapshots in their game. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, guys. But like, this is a very good step. Finally, you know, the worst offenders of snapshots are basically fixed. A user interface, okay, that's pretty nice. And miscellaneous. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. I think overall, a very nice patch. I'm very much looking forward to the Gauntlet and lots of cool changes. And most important, there is basically no nerfs. And we get a lot of cool aspect changes, which I really like, man. Like seeing these kind of stuffs. Inner Calm, Retribution, and Starlight, and like, I want more of these changes, man. That's like a really cool step for the game, I think, in the very right direction. And just make more stuff viable and give us even more build diversity. It can only help the game. And yeah, I really like to see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.